ranked Wilson Tigers taking on number 4. Someone call him a...
Hello, everybody. This is Coach Eric Singletary, head boys basketball coach, Sidwell Friends School. Excited to join you today for today's broadcast.
Coach Benj Coen, assistant coach at Sidwell Friends.
I'm Dean Mazlish, graduate from Sidwell, alumni, class of 2019.
Jason Gibson, also alumni, 2019.
Spot as of right now for next year.
So guys, kind of walk me through coming into this game. Like Dean, you could go first, and then Jason. Like, how do you guys get prepared for any game, but especially a championship game like this at a different setting?
For me, I was just trying to kind of stay in my own head. I was just really, really excited. I feel like everyone always tells you to try and, use those butterflies in your stomach to your advantage. And so I was just trying to do that as much as possible. I tried to keep my routine as normal as any other game. But honestly, I don't think I did a very good job. I was smiling and I was giddy the whole time leading up to it, just because I was pumped to play in front of all these people. It's such a big stage. I tried to take deep breaths and stay inside of myself, but honestly, I was outside of myself before this game for sure.
Yeah, for me, I was really excited to come and play this. I thought Wilson was going to be a very good matchup for us, just because of how disciplined we were. We just came off of a hot win off of St. John's, so I think we all had some confidence going into the game, and I think that's what helped us really compete in the championship. So I think it was more of not being too nervous, everybody being confident and just doing what we do, and then how we got to this point.
I know as an assistant coach, kind of going through the warm-ups, watching you guys, trying to get you guys excited, getting you guys focused. But definitely a game like this feels like a different setting. But I feel like, and Coach Singletary, you can speak to this, I feel like we had a great scouting report going into this game, and even though kind of all of DC might have had Wilson as the favorites, we felt pretty good about, if we were able to execute like we did on that play there, we could make enough shots to get this done.
Yeah, I think that, you guys as a staff did a tremendous job getting the guys ready. Like Jason said, we had just come off the great St. John's game where we played so well, but I would even go before that, how well we didn't play against McKinley, but pulled it out, on a buzzer beater. Sometimes that's the thing that propels you, to get through that first game that you're favored to win at home, and your dreams are almost shattered. But I think that was a game that kind of gave us our confidence that, it may be our year. But yeah, I think the scouting report was excellent for this team. We respected their talent, their size and things of that nature. But, one of the things we never do is not play Sidwell basketball. So we felt confident that if we could do that for close to 32 minutes, then we'd have a chance to come out on top.
One big thing for me, especially coming in, was everyone was saying that we were underdogs coming in, and us being the 4th seed and then being the number 1 team in DC, we were the underdogs. And so getting my teammates and even getting people to come out to the game, believe that we can and are end up winning this game. And so working hard to try and get my teammates and these other people to believe we can win this game. Because it took a little bit. Nobody really believed it at first. And so, getting that mindset and trying to convince other people to believe with you, I think was something that was really important.
Were you guys excited as players to see them come out and play zone against you guys?
Yeah, definitely. We love seeing zone. We have a lot of shooters on the team. We know we can eat zones up. I think we got in the middle a lot. We just missed a lot of shots, but we love seeing zone.
I think seeing the zone also, I don't know if this is true for you, Jason, but I feel like when teams would play against zone against us, it takes a lot of pressure off of Jason, because we can move, everyone on the team can move the ball really well. And when teams would play man, often we would just have to, go to Jason for a pick and roll or something, and he would end up doing a lot of the ball handling and a lot of the kind of playmaking. And when they go zone, it becomes more just we can move the ball, and Jason doesn't have to do all the work on offense, and we can kind of split it up and try and get people open shots just by quick passes. So I was definitely, when they went zone, I was excited.
Same, but a little different mindset for me. as a former player, but just, now as a coach of you guys and how I think you said it best and how well we passed the ball. I actually get excited because it's kind of like a small admission that they can't guard us. So even though I think the zone can be very effective in today's game, when there's not a premium on a lot of guys that can shoot, I think for our team, especially against a talented team like them, when we did pose some matchup problems for them, by them playing the Twins at the same time. But I still think, when you go zone that early, I think that kind of played into our hands as well.
How about Jack Lewis, the first quarter he had against these guys?
Yeah, he made some big shots. He definitely got us going for sure when I wasn't making anything. So
Oh yeah, when he hit that bank shot three after hitting like two others before that, that was crazy.
I mean, you guys were so good at executing all year, but in a championship game, it definitely helps to have uh, a few go in that maybe didn't necessarily deserve to.
Especially at the start of the game, it's easy to just miss a bunch of shots at the start of the game because you're nervous, and Jack really kept us in it at the start.
Yeah, for sure. You definitely see the nerves were there early. Like Dean said, Jason had a couple of open looks that he normally knocks down, and they just missed them. But Jack's confidence all year, and that's a testament to Dean and these other guys. Just continues pretty quiet kid. So, but I felt really good for him personally though because he had been sick in the championship game against Flint Hill, where I thought he could have really made a big difference. So I was happy to see him come and play so well. You see, we got them stretched out. I like our spacing is really good, especially on a new floor. A bigger arena. Really played into our hands with our multiple decision makers. We really had them when they did go man. We had them chasing us out on the floor, which was interesting though. When they did play zone, they were still trying to extend the zone really high, so which played into our hands as well. Like I thought they would have packed it in a little bit more, could have put more pressure on us to continue to make outside shots and protect their bigs, but they were actually extending the zone way out, so it actually added to our space.
Especially with the Mitchell twins there, like when we saw one of them guarding, Jack or Nick or almost pretty much anyone on our team, we knew we could kind of take advantage of that matchup because we just had a bunch of guards that can dribble the ball.
It's funny watching this game. You could tell there are a lot of seniors out there just because of how well both teams are passing the ball around.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like for the moment, when I go back and look at this game, obviously we've all watched it a ton of times. It was actually a very clean game. Obviously there were shots that were missed, but wasn't a whole lot of turnovers.
Quarter, Gibson from way downtown leans into it.
Like Wilson does in this game, and you're not utilizing it. In my mind, it's foolish.
One of the things that's making that difficult is Stanford commit Walter Rouse. Look at the size on that young man. He's got
that's Stanford football commit. Make sure you mention.
It's a Stanford football commit, but when it comes to keeping 7-footers out of the paint, that body matters. Here's Lewis getting to the rack, up and under. Unable to put it down. Makai Mitchell on the rebound. Kicks it out to Jay Heath. Jay Heath Jr. What a pass! Puts it in! Carlos Dunn, a beautiful feed from Jay Heath Jr. There's a trap by Wilson as they attempt to up the pace. Open shot for Gibson, the 12. Sidwell Friends with the lead and their crowd coming to life. Makai Mitchell pass to Dunn.
No call.
No foul call.
Looked like Dean Mazlish should have gotten whistled for one there.
Mazlish coming the other way. Lewis to Mazlish. Mazlish pulls.
Like even that last possession, I love how Jason probed and Dean didn't hesitate and let it go, even though he missed it. Like I just think that type of confidence that's what I love to see. By this time of the year, you just let it all hang out.
I mean, you guys just look like a championship team watching this again now, where they come out in zone. They think that that's going to be the key against you guys playing zone. A quarter later, they realize that's not going to be the recipe for them. And then suddenly you guys start executing and continue hitting shots. You get yourself a really important first half lead against a stud team.
Dean Mazlish being picked up now by Jay Heath Jr. as Wilson goes to man.
That was such a good play. And, what was that called again? Getting the backdoor screen on the right to the open layup on the left side of the hoop.
Hopefully, not too many opposing coaches watching, but has
Yeah, it's been a bread and butter, quick hitter for us, for a long time. And obviously, you have great seniors like this team had. That play was really effective.
Yeah, that's a good point. Especially like when I would go back, I remember this season, I would go back and watch the films on Huddle sometimes, and like this is advice for anyone out there. People would like tally up their assists or their points, but I remember what I would always look for is like how many open shots did we get off of like my passes, or how many open shots did I get. Like, don't tally the ones necessarily that go in, because some are going to go in, some are not. Like, you got to tally the ones that you get good shots from. That's what's really important.
And the thing I appreciate, like Dean just said, like, so a play like that, we turned it over. Like, you guys didn't rattle off any turnover. You know what I mean? It was the epitome of moving on to the next play. And as we'll see later in the game, you guys epitomize that phrase, that's often hard for teams to do at any level, but certainly the high school level. But you guys did that incredibly. Right? That's great. We highlight these tapes so much. This is definitely a clinic that we can go back and show teams that we have now and in the future, like how to, you guys are probably the benchmark of execution. I would say to Coach Benj, who cuts up most of our tape, used you guys for the last 2 years to really show how our stuff is supposed to look.
There's the outlet pass from Mr. Mitchell. He does it better than
I mean, I would even venture to say, Dean, your hard foul, and then I think of somebody else, Jack maybe. And then I just think all that let them know that we were going to be there and they weren't going to get anything easy. I think that was important. You know what I mean? Like, we really tested like their heart. That's an example right there what Dean was talking about. Like, count the quality execution, not the makes. Like, Nick got a quality shot there off of execution.
I call a timeout right here, and there it is.
Amen. Mark Stern.
Just made it really easy to coach you guys this entire season, but just this game in particular. I just remember being like really locked in, and Dean and Jason, you probably can attest to this. I don't even know if I really like my normal like kind of demonstrative self. I was definitely passionate and engaged. I just don't know if I didn't think I had a reason. I wasn't all over you guys this game.
No, it was definitely more, constructive criticism, more bringing us to the side, telling one person to tell somebody else to do something, or the whole group to huddle up. But I think you had enough trust in us with as many seniors on the floor that you knew we were gonna, do what we could and execute and play hard. And I think that's really what all you asked of us. So if we do that, there's not much to really yell at, but. I thought it was really impressive, like, our defense, because, like, the Mitchell twins didn't even want to, like, try and dominate or, like, try and be a force. Like, it just seems like we were just, like, ripping their heart out for some reason. I don't know why. Like, they just, like, were scared of us because of how disciplined we were. And I feel like we could feel it kind of, especially when they were on the offensive end.
Yeah. No, I think like when we were up, now we're down one, but when we were up 22-14, I think something super important about that was like we realized and they realized that when we were locked in on defense, they couldn't score. Like if we really needed to lock in and get a stop, we could get that stop. And I don't think that's something that they had experienced throughout their entire season. They were just this super talented offensive team, and we kind of early on, even though we ended up getting back down, early on showed that like when we need to, we can get stops and get rebounds and push it back.
No, for sure. I mean, I seriously, over the history of me coaching, I think him making first team All-State epitomizes what Dean's talking about. You know what I mean? Like, you don't look at Walter as being all the production that we count in basketball with statistics and everything, but like, he truly was credited for like his incredible presence. We certainly wouldn't have, we were some of our parts, but we wouldn't have, been able to take it to the levels that we did without him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where going back to the point about hard fouls and stuff. That's where the value of Walter Rouse gets. Nobody realizes how helpful he is until you play against him, even in practice, and you get injured like 8 times. Just hitting him his value can't be like overstated just because of his presence in there. Especially, me, I'm a huge analytics guy. You look at Walter's analytics or his stats. You're not necessarily going to see a bunch, but you play with him and you play against him, like. You really know he's making an impact on the game every single second.
Jack Lewis, one of the main culprits of that Sidwell offense. He's had a big first half. Of course, Dominguez Stevens for the Tigers with a big half. Dean Mazlish has been everywhere on the floor. Max Friestadt in the game for the
Jason, curious to hear you talk about kind of this game. You know, the final box score definitely wasn't one of your better shooting games. But in terms of, you know, after this game, Coach Scary at Towson had seen enough of you to trust, you know, the quality of shots that you're able to get for yourself, your decision making, trust that you could be a big time shooter, scorer, distributor, kind of lead guard as a freshman. You know, what did that feel like?
It was definitely amazing that, you know, he offered me after the game. Told me that he left as soon as I fouled out, so he didn't even stay to watch the rest of the game, which I thought was, you know, pretty crazy, considering I, you know, didn't think I had the best game. But the fact that he, you know, kind of saw and believed in me, made me feel really comfortable about coming to Towson. You know, what he said about me wanting to lead the team and stuff. I think it just gave me more confidence to come in and play my game and, you know, try and use some of my basketball intelligence to, you know, to rely on these guys and, you know, just get guys shots and stuff. So it was definitely a good freshman year. I'm really excited for this upcoming season.
Awesome. Coach, what do you think about both of the teams right there coming out and, you know, clearly both had our first plays set up, executing to perfection? I mean, if that doesn't epitomize a championship setting.
Yeah, I was just about to say that, man. Just trading punches, man. Like, you know, trading punches, and Dean threw that pass from like 27 feet, 30 feet. Like, that's just the confidence. You know, it was an unbelievable pass. You know what I mean? Like, just everything that we preached all year, they actually executed in this game. Like Dean said, whether we made or missed a shot, this was a clinic in execution.
Yeah. The more I think about it, the fact like that I threw that pass shows just like how much I was able to trust Jason there. Like, you know, I'm not throwing it assuming you're going to dunk it or anything. You know, I'm not throwing it to some crazy athlete who's going to jump up above the rim and get it. Like, I was just kind of trusting, like, yep, Jason. And, like, I'm trusting if I throw a bad pass, Jason's smart enough. He's not going to, like, try and do some crazy thing. Like, he'll just catch it and come down. And so, like, that trust is what makes that play able to work, and so many other plays like that. Like, my favorite play is when I would dribble around, just give you a little look, and you go backdoor, just one-handed pass backdoor. It's like that trust is, like, makes all the difference.
It took you guys, you know, 2 years to really master, you know, Notre Dame and Cavs and some of those new sets. But once you guys did, added another element to our team to have kind of a few different, you know, man offensive sets. It was a lot for teams to prepare for you guys.
No, and I think another, like, this was especially hard to guard us because, you know, a lot of teams will have one person bring the ball up every single time, and then, you know, you run a similar play over and over. But, like, for us, we could run the same play or different plays with different people bringing it up every time, which I think is really hard to defend. Whether it was Jason bringing it up, me bringing it up, or a Fondy or Jack, you know, it definitely, like, keeps the defense on their toes. They have to be ready for anything.
Alumni listening will probably appreciate, you know, if they look down at the end of our bench, they're about 5 or 6, you know, Sidwell basketball alum sitting at the end of the bench. And I'm sitting right next to them as an assistant coach. And I remember they started, you know, talking a little bit of trash to Jay Heath in the third quarter. And then he started doing this. But that was part of what made a, you know, setting like this so much fun. You see the energy.
Yeah, no, one thing, and I think kind of going back to having the alumni sitting there on the bench, like, as I've now been an alumni, like, I realize even more how powerful that is and, like, how helpful that was to us. You know, whether we understood it or not at the time, like, just having them just, you know, for their voices, just cheering, for their wisdom that they've had there, and just having them, like, being there supporting us, I think, you know, really, really helped us in ways that, like, we didn't even realize at the time. And I've come to, like, realize that more now that I've graduated. Like, it really can make a difference, you know, just being there. You don't even have to say anything, but just being there, knowing that guys came before you and went through this, and, like, they're there and they are supporting you. They want you to do well. Like, just that gives you confidence in and of itself. And, like, it can really, really, really boost the team.
But once again, the response is what I, look back and appreciate. Dean hit a huge shot there. Then Jay Heath, being the big time player that he is, comes back. Like you said, Coach, catch fire, call a timeout. Maybe they did. I'm not even sure, but like either way, like guys came to the bench, they weren't phased at all.
Yeah, I agree. With like, especially those dudes, those alumni who were sitting on the bench. I mean, I played with them, so just to be able to be in the state championship, like for them to be there and watch us, just kind of makes you want it more. And kind of want it for Sidwell, just the fact that we haven't been here. So I think them being there just kind of gave us that little, extra effort that we needed.
And I mean, and well, and I, like after having graduated, seeing these other schools, like this is like unique to Sidwell and maybe a few other schools. Like it's to Coach Singletary's credit, it's really impressive, and it's really an amazing culture that these guys come back and just sit on the bench, and like it definitely it's a boost to the team, and it's credit to Singletary for having that culture, and for that definitely makes every single team in the future just better than they otherwise would be without it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, Dean. Like that, you guys are, that's what I want. I want when you guys leave, hopefully you have a ton of success. But I definitely wanted to be where you feel so connected that you're always welcome. You're welcome to, be there in the locker room, on the court, in practice. Your voice is heard, so it's not just like we want you guys to be, the alums and coaches and special, as you guys are. So, it's a credit to me, but it's a credit to you guys for, really wanting to be there and be a part of, something bigger than yourself that you helped create. I think it's the pride that you guys have in that jersey.
I believe Gibson was not looking at the stats, but I think he was 2 for 10 in the first half. He's got to get on track. He's Sidwell's best player, coming off a fantastic game, and he's just cold today.
Mitchell kicks it out. Jay Heath Jr. That one's off.
That one would have blown the roof off this place.
The arena was waiting to explode. Achifusi doesn't challenge Lewis. 7-point Wilson lead. Lewis free throw up, and it rimmed out.
Gotta have those.
2 costly misses. Sidwell Friends have to make their free throws.
If you're a big underdog like Sidwell, you can't. When Jason Gibson's at the line, you can't miss the front end. When you can't miss 2 out of 2 free throws from a guy who's, I would guess a 70+% free throw shooter.
Dominguez Stevens again, 10 first half points. Gibson now. Stevens able to Ross half court. They're in need of a bucket. Who do they go to? Coach Singletary needs a play. They go to the freshman, back out to Gibson, back to the freshman. Chris Gamble yet to attempt a shot here today. Gibson trying to dance with it. He loses it. 5 on the shot clock. Gibson with Stevens on him. Gibson has it out to Rouse. Rouse loses the ball, going up for a layup.
Great little in and out by Gibson, fed Rouse. The shot clock was, down to 1, but a wide open layup, and the ball just slipped out of his hands.
2 missed free throws from Sidwell. A dropped attempted layup there, and Dominguez Stevens misses, gets his rebound.
Puts his own shot off the dribble from the high post.
What was I kind of have a question for Coach Singletary. What was going through your head when we were down 9 in the third?
Yeah, you beat me to it, Dean. I was about to say that was a huge execution we ran there. We were down 9, reeling a little bit, and that was a big shot by Jack Lewis.
Man, that was a big shot by Jack.
It's weird, because I just, you recognize that and you see it, but I felt so comfortable the way you guys, like you said, one thing, you guys didn't panic, and I certainly didn't panic either as a coach. I just felt like we had a lot of time left, but I also felt like it was more than time. I had the ability of you guys to make plays, and, I knew defense was be something that they weren't going to get away from us. So maybe that's why I felt comfortable. So definitely wanted to get deeper than that, because we don't play at a pace where we can get down by a lot, but I felt pretty confident.
Yeah, that's interesting, because I remember when we were looking back at it now, usually, when you're up, especially we were up and now we get down, usually you start thinking about it a lot. But in the moment, at least for me, there was no part of me that even thought we were actually going to lose this game. I was still confident in it as well.
This is where I thought, like, when you're talking about evolution of players, this is where I thought, Jason, you really improved over the course of your career. It was kind of, you didn't have the ball your first 2 years, but then the last 2 years you shared it. But you had it a lot more. But I think in this game, as Coach Benj said, even though you didn't have your best statistical game, the aggression that you played with is something that helped us win that game, right? Just, I think everybody would agree with that. But also the evolution of, certain possessions where you kept the ball in your hands as opposed to giving it up. And, like, you really started probing and exploring. I think you got a lot better at that.
Yeah, that was was something I kind of had to pick up on fast. I think senior year, especially like in the beginning games and throughout the season, just kind of worked up all to that point. Especially St. John's. Going into that game, I kind of just felt like I'm here right now. It's my senior year. It's really all or nothing. So I think that's kind of where it kind of clicked for me.
50-50 balls right there. See how hard you, Dean, and Walter battled for that one? I mean, that's big time. In the fourth quarter of a championship game, you got to get those. It's important. We executed so well in the first quarter and second quarter even to get a lot of kind of pretty baskets. But you guys showed at the beginning of this quarter, your ability to get some ugly points, whether it's getting fouled, getting offensive rebounds, your ability to stay in the game, that helped us all throughout the season, especially with how good we were at closing games.
I don't remember exactly what it was, but during this run, I remember there was one moment I was standing on the court. You had just hit one of your buckets, and I was like, damn, like, he's good. Like, I didn't even need to do anything on most of these plays. I was just standing there, and Jason was going to scoring on, like, 2-3 dudes. And I was like, geez, like, he's a freaking bucket. Like, I'd play with you, throughout all of high school. But, like, at this stage and, like, down to a team that's supposed to be, the number one team in the area, to just have to just keep scoring, like, doing it not once, not twice, but, like, continuously while we're down, it was like, I just remember stopping and thinking for a second, like, damn, that's impressive.
I mean, they just kept having an answer too. I mean, that was a great handoff by Dean with a little screen. Jason knocked it down, and then just where you go on a run here, just really keeping that dribble alive. Nice hesitation, but they had a response every time. I mean, people really got their money's worth in this game. It was an excellent game.
Yeah, no, Famdi's one of those dudes. Like, you go back and watch this game, and every coach talks about doing the little things, and like, Famdi does the little things better than like anyone I've ever seen do it. I mean, he impacts the game in so many ways. It makes the game easier for everyone else on his team just because he does every single little thing to help you win.
Yeah, for sure, Dean. The recognition. I mean, that was an example there, Jay. Just like wanting to run the offense, but just keeping your dribble alive, understanding the moment, like you said, senior year. I'll put it on my shoulders. I'm going up against a fellow all-Met ACC guard, and just clear out, and you just took him.
He can use his body.
Now let's see if they go high.
That was a big-time charge by Famdi. But this guy still putting their body on the line. 6'10" kid coming at you like that. That's when you just get lost in the game, and guys are just competing.
I don't know if a Famdi would want to put that on his highlight tape, but it was certainly a championship play. And to have the balance of a Famdi and Walter to kind of, blend with the scoring and passing and ball handling ability of you, Dean, and Jason, it was just kind of a perfect mix. And by the end of the season, you guys just knew how to play with each other, almost perfectly. I felt like if we kept playing, we'd just keep winning.
Huge mismatch. They're going to run a set here where they go.
And look at the patience and the poise. Like, I feel like even though still being down, right there, Jason, after getting that stop, Jason's like, yeah, we're about to have a lead in a few seconds here. It's not going to take very long from here.
Yeah. And the ability to take the bump from the big guys and just, your driving ability, really improved over those 4 years. I mean, Heath just kept coming, didn't he?
4 seconds to go. Gibson gets to the rack and puts it in.
Yeah, that was pretty.
Wilson Tigers the lead, but Sidwell pulls within two. Jay Heath Jr., DCSAA Player of the Year.
And this ball should make its way into the paint.
The Quaker fans coming alive. The Tigers fans coming alive.
Something to note, Chad, there's one Mitchell twin out of the game right now. Only one is in.
Dunn
and
puts it on the ground. Hutchinson puts it up. It's off. Mazlish with the ball.
We got 2:39 left. Wilson up 2.
What's going through your head here, Jason?
Probably hasn't done that all year, but everybody was just locked in. I was like, man, I got to make these free throws.
Number 5 on Mikkel.
It goes back to what Dean said a second ago, though. How many times do a guy want to run into Walter?
Yeah, no, Walter's screens are just, even if he doesn't touch the guy, like the guy is just, the defender is afraid to run into him. He's got to run way around him so he doesn't hit him at all, or he's just going to get blasted if he tries to run into him.
Lewis puts it in! Jay Heath Jr. to Dominguez Stevens. Heath gets a block. Puts it over to Hutchinson. Heath wants to take him off the dribble. Gets it down.
It's fun to see how many guys on the floor in this game, have an opportunity to play at the next level. Dean, Jason, probably all told there'll be another 5 or 6 guys on this Wilson team, another, 5 or 6 guys on the Sidwell team that continue their basketball careers. Walter, now we're watching him on the football field at Stanford.
The Sidwell coaches are both asking the scores table what's going on as Gibson misses the first free throw.
Wow.
And I think Angelo's over there telling Mackay, stay in the game until the refs tell you otherwise. And now the head referee raises her 5 fingers up. And I believe by the letter of the law, that first free throw should not count that was missed by Jason Gibson because Mackay Mitchell was on the court.
Gibson makes the second. Mason Gibson puts it in.
1 minute to go, up 2, Benj. What are you thinking here, Coach? As a young, one of my trusted coaches, but, what are you thinking here? Like, you think the game at a pretty high level, like, before they tied it up, what were you thinking?
Yeah, I'm looking at the shot clock and knowing that we definitely want to get a 2-for-1 here. Want to have a chance to have the last shot. But, it was pretty easy to just let these guys play here. They like Nick Lewis had just made that great backdoor cut. Jason's making the right decisions, getting to the foul line. So I think at this point in the season, we were just so trusting whatever they decided to do was going to work.
What are you guys thinking here? 30 seconds, they're holding for the last shot. Did you feel confident that this was like the best side? If you wanted to pick one element of our team, like was our defense, like how'd you feel?
I was confident in our defense. I really was the whole time. I think like when it came down like for big plays and stuff that we needed, like we got things done, like because we knew everybody had to be locked. There couldn't be any mistakes on defense.
Yeah, no, that at that 53-53 with 30 seconds left or whatever, I remember because I was sitting on the bench, but there was no part of me was thinking that they were gonna score. I mean, that was where we excelled, and like they weren't gonna score on that possession. I remember thinking that it's crazy to have that confidence. It wasn't even like a thought. I knew they weren't gonna score there.
The differential. Yeah, Jay Heath Jr. on this with the ball. Lewis inbounding. Jason Gibson. Gibson over to Dean. Dean Mazlish back to Gibson. Gibson tries to go inside to Lewis. Stevens comes away with the pick. Intercepts that one, a little football lingo. Jay Heath Jr. to Stevens. Stevens strong to the rack. Lays it in. Dominguez Stevens. Jason Gibson with Heath in his grill. Takes a pick from Rouse. Gibson calls for another pick
That's one of the plays that stood out to me right there, Benj. Like, Jason, what made you just trust Walt? Like, that was like a blind kind of pick. It was the right pass, but at the moment, what made you trust him to catch that ball?
For some reason, I thought, like, Walter gets fouled a lot whenever he catches the ball off of a pick and roll wide open. So what was going through my head is he either's going to go up strong and try and finish, or he's gonna get fouled, or he's gonna get the rebound or something. I had so much trust in him to like try and finish, or I don't, because it was all focused on me. So I'm like, I gotta give the ball up. I have to mix it up at some point. I'm dribbling the ball a lot, like, so I just had trust in him.
That was a big free throw by Walt, and then Jack with the tip in as well.
Yeah, that was an unbelievable play. Then you come back with the kick out to Nick for the three.
DCSAA Championship. Wilson going one-on-one. That ball's thrown away.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like when we were up 4 here and it was our ball, I thought it was over because I mean they made a couple tough plays and I messed up on defense in order for them to get back into it and then get up 2. But I thought there was no way they would be able to score. I mean, they scored 7 points in the last minute. That's credit to them. That's tough.
And then we get a great drive here.
Both twins have fouled out. It shows up in places like
Gibson
that.
splits the defense.
Gibson get in
and
space.
Another offensive rebound.
Walter
wow. Rebounded on the offensive end. And
Rouse
misses
short
it
on
again.
the second.
And they took a huge 20-plus point loss to St. John's the other night in the first round of this tournament.
Jay Heath Jr., ball in his hands, drives, gets it over to Dunn. Back in the hands of Heath.
No, that's a good point, Dan. I thought it was because when we're up 4 like that, sometimes it's like we're up 8. So I was surprised. This is a crucial play here, though, man. This is like what you teach on a tape, on a clinic. Like we get the stop. And I know Jack wanted to get the ball to you, and I would always have to remind Jack and Nick that they were guards because you don't throw the ball across the lane under the basket.
Mark Stern of Capitol Hoops. What a ball game. Inbounded ahead to Lewis. Lewis to Lewis. Lewis to Gibson.
And here's Gibson. Carlos Dunn is on him. Dunn's applying pressure, but being careful not to foul.
Jason
Lewis
Gibson
using the hip.
To the rack.
And what do they call?
They call a foul on the floor.
They call it on the floor, and that is double bonus time.
And Venable. And Gibson misses the second. Hutchinson with the rebound. 3-point ball game. Jay Heath Jr.
I mean, he kicked his leg out a little bit. I mean, I guess that's what you call. I was walking to the bench about to cry.
Yeah, he does that. That was a big play. I mean, and this kid comes and knocks down 3 big free throws. I mean, a lot of credit to him. And not only does he make the 3 big free throws to tie the game, Jason fouls out on that play. So right now, like, what are you thinking, Dean?
Oh man, I was trying to just. I mean, at this point, there's not a whole lot of thinking even going on. I was just in the game, Like I just wanted to score. There wasn't like I wasn't thinking too much about like how are we gonna score or like what play. I was just thinking we gotta score.
So we go from, right here. Do you guys remember this huddle though? Like how confident I was that we could still get this done.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I definitely like with a lot of coaches, you could have gone to that huddle and the coach would have just been nervous as hell, and it would have spread onto the players. But there was no. I mean, I definitely felt just a supreme confidence from you and from everyone in that huddle, and that definitely helped.
He misses. Jay Heath Jr. Dominguez Stevens with the lay-in.
Yeah. Probably partially my fault for years and years of playing AAU with them, just running to go get the ball every single time, and then that having to like change now this senior year where any of us can bring it up. But because me and Jack and Nick played AAU together for like 6 or 7 years, I remember the way we played, I would always just go run and get the ball and be like, yeah, I'm the point guard. But I realized that's not necessarily the best way to go about it, this year and junior year.
And this will go down.
Timeout.
Dean not letting that ball hit the ground, getting it out of the net, and getting it in, and this shot should have counted. But to me, that was an unbelievable play by Dean, just getting it out of the net. That's something you do drills and you do that. But how often do you get a chance to do that during the game? Yeah, I didn't waste a whole lot of time on the referees trying to change that call. You know what I mean? I just had to get you guys back focused, and, we tried to call a little play, but I knew it was going to be difficult to run a play. But, man, like I said before in various interviews, I trusted the ball in your hand that we were going to get something. You know what I mean? So
This is crazy.
Oh, had that finish lasted. Dean Mazlish with the ball in his hands, gets it across court. He's got 3 seconds. Mazlish got it! He made it! Amazing! Bang! Sidwell! Sidwell Friends! Dean Mazlish!
For the ages, to be able to stop on the dime, and but that was all. That goes back to the year. I'm gonna tell you what that goes back to, though. Honestly, like people won't recognize this, but if Dean had played on a bunch of like really, really good, AAU teams where he didn't play a lot, like he wouldn't have been able to make this play. Like, so this was a combination of playing for me, but also playing for his dad and being in a position where he was always playing against the best players. Like, I really believe that. I really believe that the confidence that you always had in yourself as a ball player came a lot from not just me and Sidwell, but from your outside basketball, kind of being an underdog and always going up against some top players, and being the go-to point guard on your team. It was awesome to see the community celebrating. You guys, this would be, I've talked to many people that said it's the greatest high school game they've ever seen. And that's saying a lot, coming from a town like Washington, D.C.
Absolutely amazing. What a conclusion to a great game. Way to go down to the in-game arena.
Yeah, no, it's for me, it's great. I remember because I went to Sidwell since kindergarten. I remember growing up, going to see those games first with Jamal, then Matt Hillman, then Josh Hart, and going to watch all those games and just being like, I mean, in my mind, they were like superstars when I was young. 5th, 6th grade, going to those games and like in that old gym, and like to be now like watching this and be in that same position. It's still surreal. I'm a year and a little bit out, and it's surreal to think that was us playing there when I was watching all these guys before me, and they just seemed like superstars.
Hey, Dean, that's part of the story to me, is because you were there so long, and I've known you for so long, and taught you, and what I mean. It's like you're right. It's amazing that's like even though we're in a city and we don't live like in a small town where like everybody grows up and you're going to go to that high school, but it's kind of one of those stories though. Like, you watched all these teams come before you, and here it is now. It was your turn, and you're a champion, and you hit the shot for the ages. Like, so that has to feel like unbelievable for you.
Oh yeah, I mean, it brings me back like the first time in 5th grade, because I'd watched you coach and I'd watched the team play going into 5th grade, and then we had those PE sessions where we would go, and I remember I was like, all right, I really, really need to impress Coach Singletary in 5th grade so that in the future I could play. And I was really nervous, and this was just like a PE class, but I was really nervous going into 5th grade, going into that basketball section of PE, because I was like, I gotta impress this guy, and it's crazy going from there all the way to here.
Yeah, I remember that. You're always really good, skilled, and but a leader, man. I knew that from day one. Man, I knew that. And then your brother played for me, so you were just always a part of the program. And we've been fortunate to have some legacy guys like that. The Williams, and I'm anxious to see Caleb finish it off. And it's always good to have siblings, because it's like you said, you were on the team before you were even on the team. Yeah, thank you, Coach, man. We really appreciate you moderating this platform, man. Always awesome to hear from you guys, Dean and Jason. We love you guys, man, and wish you nothing but success this season, no matter what we're trying to get through this crazy time. But excited to see you next time we see you. Thanks, guys.